What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update video for you guys. And just before we get into the update, I mean, there's been this news breaking the last 24 hours about Newcastle, about their prospective takeover. They're going to be the richest club in the Premier League in the world by a long way. You know, they're saying that these owners are worth £320 billion when Sheikh Mansour is worth £32 billion. It's
pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy what's going to happen if that looks like it's going to go through now. So Amnesty International are buying in, saying they're advising the Premier League to still try to do everything in their power to reject the offer, but looks like it's going to go through. And Newcastle fans are rightly probably very excited at the moment about the prospect of a bit of change after, you know, it's gone stale for so long for them. You know, yo-yoing between Championship and Premier League and just about staying up above water. So they're going to be very excited. And Spurs are going to have another club to contend with, it seems.
Another club to fall behind is what you're trying to say. But yeah, it's not great news, is it? It really isn't. I mean, great for Newcastle fans, but for the rest of the Premier League, it's just not great at all.
I've seen a picture, a pie chart that represents how much of a difference it is between the Premier League and the rest of the.
Yeah, it's literally and it's mental.
If you can you see that? I don't know if you can see that on my shot. Look at that. That's how much Newcastle are going to have of wealth compared to the rest of the Premier League. It's mental.
Great news, great news. But anyway, let's get on to the update, and let's start off with Calcio Mercato, and back on the Dusan Vlahovic situation. And they say Tottenham and Fabio Paratici are in direct talks with Dusan Vlahovic's entourage, where an economic agreement has probably been found. They don't know if it's found, but probably
been found. He'll probably go to Newcastle now, won't he?
Yeah.
But look, there's a different update all the time, every day it seems. But with him not signing a contract, it's only good news for us. So with Paratici on the phone to him, getting in his ear, I'm sure the chances of Vlahovic joining Spurs will increase. But I'm not expecting to hear anything in the next few months about that deal.
Yeah, me as well. But look, to be honest, this just stinks to me of the Marcel Sabitzer from last year. You know, they kept saying, yeah, Spurs are in talks, Spurs are in pole position, Spurs are this, Spurs are that. And what happens? He goes to Bayern Munich. So,
well, it did contribute to us getting Conference League. If we were in the Champions League, it might have been different. But
yeah, well, we aren't going to be in the Champions League next year either.
No.
So, anyway, let's see what happens with that one. Let's move on. This is from Charlie Eccleshare talking about the South Americans. And he says, Christian Romero and Giovanni Lo Celso will miss Tottenham's trip to Newcastle, and expectation is Emerson Royal and Davinson Sanchez will also not be back in time from the international break. And that's followed up by Dan Kilpatrick. And he says Spurs are looking into logistics of getting their South American internationals back in time for the Premier League return, but it's so far deemed unlikely. And the Argentina manager Lionel Scaloni was talking. He said, talking on Lo Celso and Romero, and he said they're about to play all 3 games, and under no circumstances will they leave earlier.
You know why he's doing this? Former West Ham player. That's why he's doing it. And that's why he's trying to every trick in the book to screw us over. They got agents everywhere, these Hammers. Tell you, it's because he's a former West Ham player, but doesn't surprise me. The third game was on the Friday, which is 2 days before the Newcastle game. So obviously, if they're going to play in that game, there's no chance they're playing in the Spurs.
You did say
game.
that last international break, though, under no circumstances they're going to be leaving early. And they did.
Oh, they did because they got hauled off the pitch in Brazil. It was a bit different, you know what I mean? They got literally banished from the country, so it was a bit different. So look, it doesn't look like they're going to be
letting them back in for breaking rules. So
again, this international break is screwing us over yet again. I thought it was going to be better, but it looks like the South Americans, who become ever so increasingly crucial to the team based on the last performance, we're going to have to make do with them again against Newcastle. And so again, I hope we don't lose momentum. That's what I'm worried about. But what can we do? We've got no options here.
And you know, it's going to be a buoyant St James's Park with the kind of news that have come out this week as well. They're going to be up for it. The players are going to be fighting tooth and nail for their histories as well, for their futures as well.
For their histories,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
I mean, they probably don't have a chance of keeping their future at Newcastle if this deal does go through, but they will still be fighting tooth and nail to keep it.
Because they want to be part of it, won't they? So it's bad news. It's bad news they're out. Look, hopefully we have the squad to cope. Probably not, but hopefully the other players, you know, not Sanchez, but it has to be Dion Roden again.
Roden, yeah.
Dion Roden and Dombele.
Or Tanganga. Oh, Tanganga will have to play right back.
Yeah, he have to play right back. So we have to have Tanganga, Rodon, Dyer, and Ndombele back in the team, probably.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But anyway, that is that situation. It does look like those players will be featuring against Newcastle, most likely coming back in for which game we got next after that? We got West Ham. Probably coming back in for the West Ham
So what's
game.
going to happen with Martinez or Buendia or Rafinha or Firmino? They're also going to be missing. They better be missing, I swear.
I'm guessing so.
They better be missing.
They wouldn't be.
I don't want to see them in the team if we're going to have players missing, I swear. It's only it's classic Spurs. Sorry. It's classic Spurs though, isn't it? To have for us sorry. For us to get screwed. It's classic Spurs for us to get screwed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is classic Spurs, but I think on this occasion, I think the other players will be suffering from it as well.
I hope so.
I can't see a way where they don't. It doesn't make sense otherwise. But let's move on. We brought you news a couple of days ago that the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust are demanding a meeting from the board in terms of clearing out kind of what the long-term plan is, what the short-term plan is with the board on the footballing side at the club. And it says, this is a statement from the THST, and they said the board of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club have declined to speak to the board of its official supporters trust for a meeting to discuss the club's medium to long-term strategy. And this is also just after, well, not just after, but, you know, when that whole thing came out with the Super League and all that, the board were trying to get a meeting with the Supporters Trust, and the Supporters Trust kept rejecting them, and now the board are rejecting the Supporters Club.
So a bit, look, I guess Spurs would kind of say, look, you rejected us and someone will reject you now, but still, it's a bit of a slap in the face to a lot of the fan base, isn't it, to reject a meeting with the board when under the current circumstances. The Supporters Trust in their statement went on to say an emergency meeting of the trust members will be held in the coming days to discuss options, and we will convene a meeting of our members shortly after to agree the next steps. It may well be the recommendations of the fan-led review are published as we go through that process, and if so, we will take them into consideration. So it doesn't surprise me, Spurs at the moment. I to be honest, when I heard the news that the trust are looking for a long-term for a meeting with Spurs board because I want to see the long-term vision, I did think it was a bit reactionary because of the results were going one way, and it was before the Villa game, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? Yeah. So now the Villa game's happened, maybe Spurs are like, we don't need this, is like too much at the moment, let's just see how results go and what's going on. But I think it was a bit reactionary, but the trust were well within their right to call it because of how Spurs acted in the summer in the manager search and all that kind of stuff.
They should have
and then how results were going.
Really,
they should have done it with the manager search.
Yeah, they should have manager search.
They should have done it then.
Been at the end of the transfer window as well. Because
I did think it was a bit cheeky, like after 3 defeats, we have to call a meeting straight away because we want to see what's going on. Yeah, but I think you couple that with the manager search and how things were dealt with in the summer.
But the transfer window as well. We've gone into a season with a weaker squad than we had last year. No backup striker. You know what I mean? There's just like so many problems, you know.
I think, no, to be fair, I think it was a bit cheeky, but I think they're well within their right to call it. And I think they should address it, Spurs, because there was a lot of lip service to the fans in the summer, and whether they're holding themselves up to that standard is definitely something to be answered for, because to the outside looking in, doesn't look like it, does it?
No.
So, attacking football, all this kind of stuff, back to the Spurs DNA, was that all just rubbish? Like,
look, we don't know what the actual. Look, at the end of the day, Nuno's only been in for 6 games.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So we don't know what the actual plan is in terms of attacking football and everything that Levy was saying in that stupid interview we did on the Spurs YouTube channel or whatever it was on the website. So we don't know that, but I want answers for why it takes so long to hire a manager. Why we didn't get proper business. We got some business through in the summer, but ultimately we go in with a weaker squad. It's not on. That is nowhere good enough. Nowhere near good enough. I'm not kind of holding those 3 games where we lost 3-0, 3-0, and 3-1 like. That can happen to anyone at any time, kind of thing. But it's what's happened in the summer for me. That's the real sticking point for this meeting.
So with Spurs rejecting a meeting, that's kind of like, we don't need to explain ourselves to you. It kind of tells me, they're caring less and less about what fans are thinking, aren't they? And by rejecting that meeting, and they're not really bothered. They're pretty much saying, look, you can have your opinions, but we don't need to explain ourselves to you. Basically, that's kind of what they're saying by doing that. And that doesn't matter. That completely goes with the line of how we feel about the board. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Definitely. All right, let's go on. Let's talk about a bit of a international update. Let's start off with Heung-min Son. Heung-min Son played today, actually, for South Korea against Syria. The game finished 2-1 to South Korea. And Heung-min Son netting a goal in the 89th minute to grab his team, his country, South Korea, the winning goal. And I believe you watched the goal, because I haven't seen the goal.
Yeah, I just saw a clip on social media, and terrible defending by Syria, I must say. Left the back line wide open at a late free kick. Son was pretty much completely free in the box, and he slotted it home with his left foot just outside the 6-yard box, and no one marking. Like, you would have thought, like, someone pick up Sonny, but no, they thought not. And yeah, look, nice goal for Son, and good win for South Korea.
Definitely. And Spain last night in the Nations League semi-final, where Bryan Gil was called up for. He came on with 15 minutes to go, and apparently he impressed massively. It was 2-1 to Spain on the night, so Spain go through to the final, and the other semi-final is tonight, which is Belgium against France. So we've got a bit of a snippet from the Spurs web, and what they tweeted out last night was saying, they said, "Have a friend currently at the San Siro watching Spain against Italy. He tells me Bryan Gil has been absolutely exceptional, a real mature display from the youngster. The Spanish fans went crazy when they heard his name called out when he was subbed on." So good news.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he's been called up for Spain, and because Luis Enrique, we know, is a big fan of his. He's spoken very highly of him previously, so I'm very happy for Bryan Gil being part of the Spain squad. I'm happy he got minutes in what was a real crucial game, semi-final of a competition. So fair play to Bryan Gil coming on and doing well. So maybe that could lead to more senior caps and minutes, and the more he plays for Spurs as well, I'm sure the more he'll be involved with the senior team. So he had a great Olympics as well, didn't he? So, and he's always done well apparently for the youth team. So sounds like he's grown for the national on the national side of things.
Yeah, definitely. And let me just round off with where you can see Spurs players tonight and tomorrow for their countries. So Hugo Lloris will be playing in that Nations League semi-final against Belgium tonight. Ollie Skip will be taking on Slovenia for the England under-21s 7:15 kickoff as well. At midnight, you can catch the Argentina against Paraguay game, where Giovanni Lo Celso and Christian Romero could be playing. And Colombia are away to Uruguay again at midnight tonight. Davinson Sanchez should be playing in that one, and Emerson Royal could be playing for Brazil tonight at 12:30 against Venezuela. And then tomorrow night you can catch Wales against Czech Republic in a World Cup qualifier, where Joe Rodon could turn out for Wales, and then Estonia playing at home to Belarus, where Maxim Pastotsi could be turning out for Estonia. So that is your international roundup. That is your Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,
come on you Spurs.